I want you to think back. Your first day of school. You were what, 6 years old? 7? Small wooden desk. That smell of chalk and erasers. You sat there looking up at the teacher, and she handed you something. A map. Not a physical map, but a set of rules. A formula for life. She said, if you want to be safe, if you want to be successful, follow these steps exactly. Go to school. Get good grades. Find a secure job. Work hard for 40 years. Save 10% of your paycheck in a bank. And at the end, you'll cross the finish line into a comfortable retirement. Simple. Everyone agreed this was the path. So you took that map. You held it tight. You followed every step. You went to school. You got the grades. You found the job. You worked the overtime when they asked. You saved what you could. You sacrificed weekends, holidays, time with your kids. You did everything they told you to do. But now you're here, decades later, and something's wrong. You look at your bank account and the numbers don't match the years you gave. You're working harder than ever, but it feels like you're sinking. The retirement you were promised keeps moving further away. Meanwhile, you see other people who don't seem to sweat, getting richer by the minute. And late at night, the question haunts you. Did I do something wrong? Was I not good enough? You did everything right. The problem isn't you. The problem is that the map they gave you was fake. An old, outdated map for a world that doesn't exist anymore. They kept handing out the same map, generation after generation, even after the landscape completely changed. Today, I'm going to show you why that map failed. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the real map, the one the wealthy used to build empires while you were told to save pennies. My name is your guide. This is the Wealth Fortress. If you're tired of working hard and getting nowhere, stay with me. To understand why you feel so lost right now, we need to go back. Back to when that map was first drawn. The formula, work hard, save money, retire comfortably, that formula was created during the Industrial Revolution, the 1950s, the 1960s, the factory era. And back then, it actually worked. Your grandfather could get a job at the car factory. One job, one salary. And with that single paycheck, he bought a house. Not a tiny apartment, a house with a yard. He bought a car. He raised 4 kids. He took the family on vacation every summer. And he still had money left over to save. When he retired, the company gave him a gold watch and a pension. A guaranteed check every month until he died. The system kept its promise. That was the world the map was designed for. And in that world, the map worked perfectly. But then something changed. The global economy shifted. Factories closed. Jobs moved overseas. And most importantly, as we talked about in our earlier videos, governments started printing money. Endless amounts. The value of your savings started melting like ice in the sun. The entire landscape transformed. Mountains moved. Rivers dried up. Roads disappeared. But here's what they didn't tell you. The map never got updated. The schools kept teaching the same formula. The parents kept giving the same advice. The banks kept telling you to save your cash. Imagine trying to drive through a modern city using a map from 1800. You'd crash into buildings that weren't on the map. You'd fall into rivers that moved. You'd end up completely lost. That's exactly what's happening to the middle class today. They're using an antique map to navigate a digital, high-speed, hyperinflated world. They're still trying to save paper money that loses value every year. They're still betting everything on a single salary. They're still waiting for a pension that doesn't exist anymore. And the system? The system didn't just forget to update the map. They deliberately kept giving you the old one. Because as long as you follow that old map, you stay on the treadmill. You keep working. You keep consuming. You keep the machine running for them. Let me show you exactly how the system is rigged. I'm going to use a game you've probably played. Monopoly. Imagine you're sitting at a table. There's a Monopoly board in front of you. You're player 1. You've got your little metal piece, let's say the car. You take the dice, you roll them, you move around the board. You pass go. You collect your $200. That's your salary. You keep going. You try to save your colorful paper money. You play by the rules. You work hard. But there's someone else at the table. Let's call him the insider. Here's the thing about the insider. He doesn't roll the dice. He doesn't move around the board. In fact, he doesn't play the game at all. Because the insider owns the board. He owns the little plastic houses. He owns the hotels. He owns the bank that prints the money. Every time you land on a square, you pay him rent. Every time you pass go and collect your salary, he prints more money, making your $200 worth less. So you think, I just need to work harder. I'll roll the dice faster. I'll go around the board twice. I'll get a second job. You run faster. You work weekends. You hustle. You're exhausted. And the insider? He's just sitting there, sipping coffee, watching you run. Because he knows the secret you don't. Hard work doesn't scale. You only have 24 hours in a day. You only have 2 hands. No matter how hard you work, eventually your body gives out. But ownership scales infinitely. The insider's hotels collect rent while he sleeps. His assets grow in value while he's on vacation. He's not trading time for money. His money is making money. The lie you were sold is that your labor, your time, your sweat, is the most valuable thing you have. It's not. Don't get me wrong, your work has value. Your dedication has value. But the system taxes your labor at the highest possible rate. And inflation steals whatever you manage to save. The real wealth isn't made by rolling the dice. It's made by owning the board. Once you see the board is rigged, you start seeing illusions everywhere. And the biggest illusion of all? The safe job. We were taught that being an employee is safe. That having a job means security. That being an owner is risky, dangerous, only for gamblers. Let's think about that for a second. When you have a job, you have one source of income. One boss. One company. If that company has a bad quarter, if the economy shifts, if a computer learns to do your job, if your boss just doesn't like you, you're done. In one phone call, 100% of your income drops to zero. Your entire family's survival is balanced on the mood of one person, on the decisions of one company. Does that sound safe to you? Now look at the wise builder, the person who owns things. Maybe he owns shares in 50 different companies. Maybe he has rental property. Maybe he holds Bitcoin, secured by thousands of computers worldwide. Maybe he has gold in a vault. If one company goes bankrupt, he doesn't panic. He still has 49 other income streams holding up his fortress. The system wants you to believe that investing is dangerous. They want you to keep your money in a savings account, earning 0 interest, losing value to inflation, so they can invest it for themselves. But the truth is the exact opposite. In 2025, relying on a single salary and keeping all your savings in paper cash is the most dangerous financial decision you can possibly make. It's financial suicide in slow motion. I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're in your 50s, your 60s, maybe your 70s, and you're feeling a knot in your stomach, a mix of anger and regret. I wasted my whole life following the wrong map. I worked so hard, and now it's too late. Listen to me. It's not too late. Yes, you followed the map they gave you. That anger you're feeling, that's real. That's justified. But anger doesn't pay your bills. Regret doesn't protect your grandchildren. Action does. You can't change the past. You can't get back those years. But you can change what happens next. You don't need $1 million to switch sides. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow and become a day trader. You just need to change how you think. Stop thinking like a laborer. Start thinking like an owner. The next time money comes into your hands, don't just ask, what bill do I pay? Or, what do I need to buy? Ask, how can I turn this paper, this melting ice, into something permanent? How can I buy a piece of the board? You've got $100 left over at the end of the month? Don't leave it in a savings account earning nothing. Buy a fraction of an index fund. Buy a piece of Bitcoin. Buy a sliver of gold. You're not buying things. You're buying back your time. You're buying freedom. And more importantly, teach this to your children. To your grandchildren. Don't let them walk into the same trap. Don't let them graduate college and step onto that treadmill with the old map in their hands. Sit them down. Tell them the truth. Tell them that a salary is just raw material. The real game is turning that salary into assets. Into pieces of the board. There's a moment that's coming. Maybe it already came for you. Maybe it's coming tomorrow. It's the moment when you realize you can't do this forever. Your body hurts. Your back aches. Getting out of bed takes longer than it used to. And you do the math. How many more years can I work? How much longer can my body hold out? That's a terrifying moment. Because if your only income is your labor, if you're still rolling the dice on that board, then when your body stops, your income stops. But if you've been building assets, even small ones, then when your body needs rest, your assets keep working. Your rental property keeps collecting rent. Your index fund keeps paying dividends. Your Bitcoin keeps holding value. Your gold stays gold. This is the choice you're making right now, whether you realize it or not. Every time you get paid, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to more consumption, more stuff, more hungry mouths to feed, more dice rolling. The other path leads to ownership, to assets, to freedom. Which path are you going to take? I need to tell you about a conversation that never happened. When I was 22, fresh out of school, I got my first real job. I was so proud. I remember calling my father to tell him. He said, "Good. Now keep your head down. Work hard. Save your money. Don't make waves." That was the advice. That was the map he'd been given. The same map his father gave him. And I followed it. For 40 years, I followed it exactly. Kept my head down. I worked hard. I saved what I could. I never made waves. And you know what happened? I woke up at 65 and realized I'd spent my entire life making other people rich. My landlord got rich off my rent. My bank got rich off my savings. My boss got rich off my labor. But me? I was tired. My savings were worth half what they should have been because of inflation. And the retirement I'd been promised? It wasn't enough. I wish someone had pulled me aside when I was 22. I wish someone had sat me down and said, "Listen, working hard is good, but it's not enough. The game has changed. The map your father gave you? It's outdated. If you follow it, you'll end up exhausted with nothing to show for it. You need to do two things at the same time. Yes, work your job. But with every paycheck, take a piece, even a small piece, and buy something that works for you. Buy assets, buy ownership, build a machine that keeps running even when you're tired." Nobody told me that, and I paid for it with decades of my life. But I can tell you now, right now, if you're young, you still have time. Don't waste it like I did. And if you're older, if you're my age, looking back with regret, it's still not too late to build something. It's not too late to stop feeding the system and start feeding yourself. But you have to start today, not tomorrow, not next month, today. Look, I can't give you back the years you lost to a rigged game. I can't refund the weekends and overtime you sacrificed for a lie. But I can give you the truth. The blindfold is finally off. You've survived recessions, inflation, and crashes, but surviving simply isn't enough anymore. The question is, will you keep rolling the dice on their board, or will you step off and start building your own? Take that old, outdated map they gave you in school and tear it up. You don't need it anymore. If this woke something up inside you, hit the subscribe button to find the real map. Share this video with someone you love who is still trapped on the treadmill. The blueprint is in your hands. Welcome to the Wealth Fortress. Now,